Welcome. First episode of RNG, the Russo N Goodwin Show. New music caught us off guard there with the waiting screen there, but we are live. First episode of the season. It's
That's awesome. That's awesome. Me too. It was so loud. It was so loud in there.
It was. Interesting. Welcome, guys. So this is our, I guess, inaugural first episode under this new name. This is like our third name change. Obviously, I believe Cam Newton had a 4th and 1 podcast, and I felt we should personalize ourselves a little bit more to stick out. So working on the branding right now and getting that all set. But anyways, welcome back. It is July 24th, 7:04 p.m. Central Time. I am here with my boy, Trey Goodwin. Coach Trey. How we doing today, man?
Good, brother. Definitely think that we'll let the Super Bowl contending quarterback have the before we get into any naming drama or whatever. I will say comfortably we did have the name first. However, we will humbly oblige, and this is kind of something that you and I have spoke about off camera for a while now. Unfortunately, as it pertains to the overall health of the show, there's been a couple of necessary conversations, and so little hiatus, but we're back, and I think back consistently and better than ever. And there's a couple of different things in the way it's going to work that I think y'all are going to like, but the first that I want to shout out to and give a little slow clap, one of these is clocking the moment that we see Russo with a camera again.
Dude, get up for this moment. For this moment.
For this.
The behind the scenes, you're gonna see different angles all year long because I barely got this to work, and I feel like I'm taking a MySpace photo right now. Remember
in the sports book too. And the way that we could really make it, the way that we really know that we made it is whenever we actually get invited to whichever one of these places decides to let us become a sponsor, lets us record from a sports book. That would be tough. And just like watch a game there too, like whatever the case may be. That's kind of the angle and the goal. But yeah, excited to be back. Feeling great, dude. Let's get into it.
If you do hear a screaming child downstairs in my room, it is my nephew who is here, Budge Man, having himself a sook.
Shout out.
Can't control that. Shout out to Budge though. Let's just get into it, man. It's we're about a month away, right, from football time, and we've got a lot to go over. We'll kind of use this episode just to kind of get our feet wet and go over what happened basically in the offseason. We'll talk about the SEC media days. We'll talk about, any crazy shit that happened. And then obviously there's kind of this rivalry with the SEC and Big Ten. So we'll go over that, and then we'll end with LSU specifically and give our outlook on that. So Trey, floor is yours, man. Let's get started with media day. What were your thoughts? Any takeaways from the last few days of that?
So I actually made it a point last year to have notes. Now, granted, we work 9 to 5s, we work full time, so it's a little bit difficult for me to like be clocked in the entire time and listen to every single comment live as it happens. So whenever some of these crazy things that you're talking about like get said, I usually don't hear about them until, like an hour or two after it happens. And I literally listen to every single coach take the podium, every single one. And this is supposed to be a little bit more buttoned up than when you talk to your regular media or whatever the case. But there was a few things that I noticed. I mean, we can get into the Big Ten here in just a second because I have that labeled down, and we will get into the Big Ten. The SEC as a whole feels kind of like this is the year where it was close to people wanting to take the jump and put their chips in the middle of the table on someone else. And it wouldn't be a new episode if I didn't drop my pen. But I just feel like a lot of the media, and again, only like 20 or 25% of them submit their ballots at the end, but it feels like they just sat and got comfortable and went with picking Georgia and Texas. And that's fine, but I guess the uncomfortable truth, because this is going to be labeled SEC Media Days, truths and crazy stuff. The truth of the matter is that people got comfortable and just went with Texas and Georgia. I think Arch Manning is getting a lot of hype more for the name than what he's done on the field. I will be one of the people to say that I think Arch is going to live up to that hype. I know Sneed would be super excited, our boy, about that. To be honest with you, I think that he's going to be just as good as we think that he's going to be, which is pretty damn good. And Texas has an awesome team, and they have every reason to be in the SEC championship. They start out with Ohio State. Georgia was the one that was a little bit curious. So did you know that 54, and I didn't even know this, I heard this. So did you know that 54% of Georgia's lineup is first or second year players?
Yeah. No.
When has that ever happened?
I mean, we've been pretty used to these SEC teams like Alabama and such reloading every year, right? Now that NIL has changed the landscape of everything, it's probably not as common for that to happen. So, like, this is probably going to be the new. Well, I take that back. Yeah, I did. I was surprised for sure. They did lose a lot of people. Interested to see how that plays out this year.
Yeah, man, and it's like, and it's like the schedule. I mean, if you want to get into it like super quick, just because I don't want to spend too much time on Georgia on a show where I know a lot of LSU fans are going to be watching. But as it relates to who you could potentially be playing at the end of the year, if things go right for you, Marshall, Austin Peay at Tennessee, Bama at the crib, Kentucky at the crib, at Auburn, Ole Miss at the crib, Florida at the crib, at State, Texas at the crib, Charlotte, and Georgia Tech. Your toughest games are clearly going to be on the road at Tennessee, at the crib with Bama, on the road at Auburn. Ole Miss and Florida at the house is certainly something to watch. And I think just in general, that stack, Tennessee, Alabama, Kentucky, Auburn, Ole Miss, Florida, can they get out of that unscathed? I think that's very lofty. I think it's at least fair to assume at least one or two losses in there. Are they and then you go on the road to State and then you get Texas and then you got two games at the end. I'm probably gonna lean onto the fence of, if I had to pick today, Georgia and Texas getting to the SEC championship isn't a bad go. It just feels like if any other team but Georgia had that schedule, they would get nailed. And by this, like it would be, oh, this is murderer's row. Oh, they're gonna. I mean, I see three law, but because it's Georgia and because of what they've done, and that's kind of my point. What they've done recently has given you the reason to feel benefit of the doubt. Like, is Gunnar Stockton like that? They certainly think so. I mean, I thought it was Bauer Sharp. I can't, not Bauer Sharp. What was their what was homeboy that they just put into the league? The tight end.
I forgot what his name was. Bowers?
Brock Bowers, yes. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm way too excited about LSU's transfer portal class, as you can see. But he literally looked like Brock Bowers. He looked 40. And as soon as he took the podium, I'm like, he's going to be good. Like, he's going to be good. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe not buy into so much of the hype super, super early. Let's just see how this team competes. Let's see what they have at quarterback before we just all of a sudden, nominate them for, the end of the year. I mean, that is not an easy schedule. And I think, and I'll ask your thoughts on this one too, because this is the other one they play in this year, Florida. Dude, where in is it more shocking that people are as on the hype train for Lagway or Sellers? Which one shocks you more?
That the media is catering to, or just
because they're catering to, because the hype is on both. So which one is a more shocking?
I mean, I would argue the hype is way more on Sellers. He was put as the first team.
Does it shock you more than Lagway?
I mean, I don't think Lagway sniffs the top three. I mean, I think that's pretty clear. I would say he's probably fourth or fifth. I think Lenoris being first is a little crazy, if you want my honest opinion.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I think the game against Clemson certainly had something to do with it. And to be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure that we're being fair as it pertains to how they ended the season. I mean, they did beat LSU, Ole Miss, and Florida State was horrible. Did they win? Did they beat LSU? Did LSU beat themselves? Did Ole Miss going for it on fourth down like 106 times inside the 5-yard line? Did that beat themselves? Like, I think those are all fair questions. Dude, I am very much so interested to see how you can look at the body of work of both and say he looks like everything could line up for 9-3, 10-2 for Florida, and this guy deserves to be number one SEC preseason all first team. And again, this is preseason hype. I understand that. It just feels like they want both of these dudes to be Cam Newton so bad, and it's so understandable, dude. But it's kind of insane. Like it's kind of Cam was almost 2 years older than these dudes at this point when he was doing what he was doing, and the media still wasn't on him like that. It was this dude's huge, he's good, he didn't beat out Tebow type thing, bro. Yeah. Lagway didn't even play a full season
and looked horrific in the bowl game.
I think both of them are good quarterbacks and deserve hype.
I'm not sold on Lagway. I think I'm buying the stock of sellers. I'm not on Lagway yet. Now, could that change? Obviously, he definitely showed out last season against us. So yeah, I'm not sold on him. I think they got that right. I don't know if they released anything about where he specifically landed, if they did anything for 4th or 5th, but I think they got the top 3 quarterbacks right.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy that they were hyped more than someone like John Mateer. Like, I know the conference wasn't great, but dog, he did it both ways.
No, yeah.
Like I'm not the one that's telling you Oklahoma feels like a 10-win football team. But if they figure it out on the offensive side of the football, dude, their defense wasn't bad. Now they lost some talent in the transfer portal for sure, but it for John Mateer to literally be like 5th among talking about, like, clearly you're going to talk about Garrett Nussmeier, clearly Arch Manning is going to be but for John Mateer to not even make it into like the next little wave, like I heard Gunnar Stockton's name more than John Mateer. Like I don't know, dude. That was a very highly sought after transfer that decided to go to Oklahoma. He didn't get there was no one picked people over him, and so he was left with Oklahoma. He chose to go to Oklahoma. So I don't know. I just thought that was a little bit crazy. And I guess last but certainly not least, and this can kind of lead us into the next one. What is your thoughts? And I know this is kind of a sensitive topic because of how you've been here lately, but like, what are your thoughts on Texas A&M? Because leaving media days, it feels like a lot of people are on their bandwagon, big dog.
Honestly, if you want my perspective, I think this is probably the most conservative it's been out of like the last 5 or 6 years. I think they've had so much hype every single year. Every single year you hear, with this amazing freshman class, this amazing transfer class, and I just don't think you have that this year. I don't know if that's because they actually don't, or they're kind of lowering expectations. I hope they're lowering expectations because you know how I feel about Texas A&M. Always will hate them. However, I'm going to be very open-minded this year with all teams. I'm not going to show my bias because I know you're going to be more biased than I am towards LSU. I'm a realist. I'm more of the guy that will take everything with a grain of salt. And you know that because I'm going to be very fair and strict towards Brian Kelly, towards Garrett Nussmeier this year as well. So I'm giving everyone a chance. It's a fresh slate. It's a new name. It's a new me. We're changing it up this year. So I'm not getting any hate towards A&M. I think this is the most conservative the media has been towards them in the last 5 or 6 years, I would say, though.
Give me a hand on camera here. Give me a hand on camera. We're going to count something. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Put a finger up for a win. I can't see your fingers right now because I'm on a different screen. You ready? Texas A&M schedule. Here they go.
All right.
UTSA, Utah State. Fingers up only for wins. Notre Dame on the road. A&M plays Auburn at the crib. State at Auburn. The house. Florida at the house. On the road at Arkansas. At LSU. At Missouri, who is the quietest 10-win football team known to mankind. at the crib against South Carroll, Samford, and on the road in Austin. How many fingers do you have up?
That's 7.
Okay, so you're a proponent of their under.
We are getting into that. There will be a deep dive video into that. That won't be long. We'll talk about that towards the end of the video. But yeah, I mean that's kind of what we're going to be doing for our videos, for our next videos, going through the schedule of the SEC and
now I'm excited,
comparing and contrasting over-unders, because we usually do talk about it on a live perspective. I think it'll be very cool this year to do it from a edited video perspective with visuals, and I think it'll be cool. So yeah, I don't know what their number is. If I had to guess, it's 7 or 8.5 probably would be the number I'm thinking right now. A lot of those teams, like outside of Texas and Georgia, are probably 8.5. So
I will tell you super quick. The fact that I don't remember this off. Well, sometimes it changes.
I mean, something tells me it's going to be 8.5 because they're probably going to be favored in 1 or 2 of those games I gave them a loss for. So it all equals out.
8.5.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I think next week around probably Monday or Tuesday we'll come out with a video for that. Let's segue into some crazy shit that we like to say. I'll just start it off with this. Like, what, in your opinion, what is going to be like the narrative from the last 2 or 3 years that will stick and not go away? Is there a certain, is it the SEC's, everyone hates the SEC? Is it the college football playoff committee, the rankings? Like, is there a narrative you think that everyone's expecting to go away and it's not? Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, no, I would say that the SEC hate's going to stay, and it's the SEC hate's going to stay.
It's always going to stay.
Because now you're getting into, and then we can get. I mean, so the shots being taken by the Big Ten. It was Curt Cignetti to start. I mean, UW came out and said the same thing today. It is laughable. It is certifiably laughable that you are so brazenly comfortable as the Big Ten to preach about strength of schedule and who you're playing and scheduling when your entire conference does not represent a challenge like the other one does. But do you know why they have the right to have the pissy pants about this right now? Because they have won the last 2 national championships with, I could arguably say, from 2 of their maybe handful of good, really good football teams capable of winning it. And last year was the most down year that the SEC has had in a very, very long time. So they are striking while the iron's hot, and they should. The problem that I have is that, and if you really want to provide context to this, I looked at the Indiana football schedule. Do you want to look at an example of what a team that felt the need to say something on this matter, what their schedule looks like? Don't worry, I'll tell you.
It's the same thing, isn't it? From last year?
Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, Illinois, Iowa, on the road at Iowa, at Oregon, Michigan State at the crib, UCLA, Maryland at Penn State, and Wisconsin, Purdue on the road. I am counting maybe at Penn State. That's rough. At Oregon, okay. At Iowa. What else? Am I missing something?
I think it's the same schedule.
Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, Illinois, Iowa, Oregon, Michigan State, UCLA, Maryland, Penn State, Washington.
Indiana replaced. Was it Indiana that replaced Virginia Tech or Oklahoma State? I forgot what team that was. Virginia? I don't know. I get it, dude. I mean, I think
Like, what are we talking about? What am I overreacting? Am I missing something? I know
no.
I know
mean,
I'm from the 225, but Jesus Christ.
the stats don't lie. I mean, I think based on last year's strength of schedule, like for conference, I think the SEC had an average of 208 and the Big Ten had 197. So, I mean, like, it's the SEC, you consistently face tough competition. In the Big Ten, there's good teams. I get that, but it's top heavy. So, like, you're going to have some tough games, but there are some off weeks for sure. I mean, they're competitive at the top, but I just don't think they have enough depth in the conference to argue the way they're arguing right now. So I'm with you. I think I'm not an SEC butt kisser, but like I just to me and welcome Ben, Imagine 29. Big Ten is so top heavy. Yeah, once you get past those, that's kind of how it was last year. I expect the same thing. However, I mean, with NIL being here, you're going to see a lot more depth in other conferences. So like there could be two things can be true as Ben would like to say. I think the Big Ten can be top heavy, and I think the SEC could still technically fall like off a little bit more than last year too, just because lots more talented people are going to the MAC, to the to all these other conferences, and the talent is spreading out. So to me,
I mean, brother, Colorado State, UC Davis, Wazoo, and this is Washington's football schedule. Ohio State, Maryland, Rutgers, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, Purdue, UCLA, Oregon. So you've got at least Oregon, Michigan, and Ohio State. You've got the big three. At least Washington has that. That would be that's not too dissimilar than Georgia playing, Texas, LSU, and Bama. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like plausible 9-3, 8-4, 10-2, 11-1 pipe football teams. And so what I mean rather by what I'm telling you is that it is laughable that this is happening, but the SEC deserves it because of how you ended up last year when you have teams but you cannibalized yourself. And for Greg, speaking about Greg Sankey at some point did say, and I don't want to like say this wrong, but he said, and I quote, the standard is set when you get narrated as the standard. So whenever you become the butt of a joke, it's clearly that you're the man. Like clearly you are Hefe whenever people are speaking about you, like that. What did we win? Yeah. What did we win?
I think our good friend Tyler is referring to his favorite show, Big Brother. I want to step in. I did confirm that Indiana canceled a home and home series with Virginia that was originally scheduled for 27 and 28, and they replaced them with Kennesaw State and Austin or Eastern Illinois. So and he was arguing that, I think he was making that argument again that like, hey, like the SEC does it. You play Sanford on a random week 10 game, like just like Jesus, man.
It is
and had to pay $500,000 to do it. I mean, that's
if it's not Ohio State and Texas, what's the biggest game of the first week?
LSU Clemson.
What was it last year?
LSU was who did we play first last year? Florida State. Who did we play? USC.
What about the year before?
Florida State.
What the year before?
Look, I'm tired of this first week.
We're gonna get into it. Don't close your eyes. We're gonna get into it.
It's fatiguing me, dude.
Don't get into it. It is laughable that's not talked about. That's not talked. LSU scheduled 2 Big Ten teams last year. Not 1, but 2. And
hell, even I know Notre Dame gets a lot of flack for not joining a conference, but at least they have a decent schedule. Like they have more of an argument to
Let me see.
me compared to Indiana, right? I mean, I could be wrong on that.
Let me
But,
make sure. Let me make sure I
they've
agree
got
because
they've got A&M again. I mean, even A&M's probably on par with Penn State, right? I mean, Indiana plays only Penn State this year,
I think
correct?
Penn State's better than A&M today. I think Penn State's better than A&M. Don't get me started on what I'm ready to say about Penn State.
I just think they're near the same temperature. Like I don't think it's crazy.
It starts out at Miami, and then you get a bye week before A&M.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is.
Purdue, at Arkansas, and then you have Boise State, NC State, USC, another bye week, Boston College, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, and Stanford. So if they can get out of the first 4 weeks without 2 losses, they're going to run through that schedule.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see. And so good for them for scheduling A&M in Miami. They've always done the ACC challenge. Good for them to schedule the A&M thing. That A&M game could have easily gone the other way. I did watch that game to its full, extent. And on the road at Arkansas is fine, but there's a really strong chance that Sam Pittman's not even there by that game.
Yeah.
Like, who I love, by the way. I love Coach P. But
how about a quick segue?
Can we bring that up?
Yeah.
A&M is better than Penn State roster-wise. I don't know that I fully agree. I see the angle here. I don't know that I fully agree with that because A&M did lose some significance into the transfer portal. Brother, Penn State's got pretty much everything that they need to do what they did last year again. They got the schedule, they got the roster, they got the age, they got the beauty, they've got pretty much everything that they.
It lies on their quarterback, I think.
Who's also the reason why they didn't go the full length last year.
But we've clocked that even that day we recorded drunk at your house watching that game against Ohio State. We just knew he didn't have didn't have it. Has he made the improvements? We'll see. I think what Marcel Reed's probably got more of a ceiling, right? Compared to Drew. I think what Drew is. Drew's just a big name in a I wouldn't say a weak draft class for quarterbacks, but he's a name. He plays for Penn State. I don't know. That's an interesting. I think that's a great comp. To me, I think it's a great comp.
I'd like to look into that more. Thanks for bringing that up.
I wanted to segue real quick before we jump into LSU specifically. What's the deal with Bryce Underwood? I haven't paid much attention to Michigan as I should. Maybe that's out of spite. Is he starting? Surely he is, right?
Who else would? Who else are you going to let start?
I don't know.
You brought him there for a reason. I think he starts.
Well, you paid him a bunch. I mean, it would be a shame for someone to pay $3 or $4 million to watch him sit.
I think you ask him to play right away. I mean, that is by far and away exactly what you brought him there to do.
The only time I've ever heard, I had a conversation with Snee, and he said all the coaches are amazed by him. I think that's not shocking. Right, I mean, I think he's got all the attributes. He's got all the accolades from high school. Outside of, did he win a championship in high school? I think they got bounced pretty early.
At Bellevue, I'd have to go and look.
I'm interested to see that. I specifically remember last year recording that episode right when it happened. It was a shame, but we knew it was coming. We kind of knew it was coming. But I figured we'd segue from the Big Ten to LSU specifically. You're the guy. Let's hear it. What are your thoughts? Let's start with the offseason and how you think BK did his expectations for this season. Let's start with BK.
I will absolutely get into BK right after we get to a couple of people that we want to talk about really quick. So here on the newly rebranded RNG, the Russo N Goodwin Show, we do want to welcome in a couple of people who have not sponsored us yet, but we certainly would hope to. I am a current social media ambassador for both of these people, so I'm sure they would have no problem with me talking about their product online. I am going to try my very, very hardest to make it very, very clear that we are not sponsored by these people. So I have no license or affiliation to be able to speak on behalf of their company and their products, other than the fact that I personally use them and love them. And a couple of those are the one, the only WiseEye Data Cam. So WiseEye Technology is a Louisiana local cell phone wildlife camera company that absolutely and always utilizes the best photographic images for their cameras. As you can see, the WiseEye Data Cam 2 and also the WiseEye Mini Cam 2. I have used these for a couple of seasons now, guys. I'm incredibly impressed by their quality. For all of you hunters, for all of you outdoorsmen, gals, fellas alike, please by any means shoot me a DM, give me a call. Let me know what you think. I'm not really sure if I ended up being able to share it just now, but it seems my camera is not really wanting to participate, but I will add the links below in the video if you would like. The second of which is the minimal golf bag. And if I can get my camera to do what I want, see if I can do it. Let's
probably still mad that I didn't recruit on the Dynasty yesterday.
No, I don't talk about it. No. So here, guys, so we just talked about WiseEye. I'll show you that one really quick. Sorry about the mix-up. But as it relates to WiseEye, this is going to be their website. 30% off right now for your monthly subscription to get those cameras. I know Russo hears me all the time talking about deers on camera. Sometimes it's a predator. But for all of our outdoorsmen and our outdoor gals, certainly give them a look. Super, super incredible customer service. I'm really, really impressed with their product. And as it relates to the Minimal Golf Bag, Minimal Golf Bag is a golf company that I've come into contact with over the last couple of years. They were born in South Bay, Los Angeles, and it stands for making the best products for the player and the planet. We do our best, help wherever we can, and try to have a little fun while doing it. I've been a social media ambassador for them for now the last 2.5 years. I have the MR1, so the MR2 is now up for sale. They've got literally ice chests on the side for those that like to play golf. As you can see right here, magnet pockets, guys, no zippers included, all golf balls in the front, clubs up top. So party in the back, business up top, like a mullet. I just want to let you guys know how impressive these things are. Now, I will say candidly that I am not the spokesperson for either of these two people. They have not paid me to say a single thing about their companies. However, I will say that I have used these products. I love them. And if you would like any further information, please, by all means, give them a shout out, give them a look, follow on Instagram, and all of that.
Hell yeah.
Getting out of that charade, I just wanted to give those guys some love. They've been super, super awesome to me. They've been super great to give me not only their time, but also some products to work with. They've been really, really awesome. I hope at some point we can get affiliated with them and get something licensed, but all in the days to come. As it pertains to BK and the transfer portal, much like what I just said, which was a mouthful, so is that. BK has certainly done a lot of put your money where your mouth is. To me, it feels like you almost have to be. When you offer to match $1 million, it's kind of hard for me to not be impressed by that. Like, good for you to go out into the transfer portal and get some people that you need. I really, really am impressed with the kind of, not only the kind of like leader he's being with the NIL thing, but deviating from the old adage of we're not going to pay for players. If you want to just get paid, don't come here type thing. And he's gone away from that. I'm incredibly impressed by the number one transfer portal class in the nation. If I had to if you were to say this transfer portal class can be defined by one name, and I know that's hard to do, but I'm going to put you on the spot. If it was defined by one name, who would your one name be?
I would just say, I can't say one name. I would just say all the additions they made.
That's top out
at DB. I mean, dude, the DBs were atrocious last year. Like
the safeties.
I mean, I would say the entire defense.
Okay.
I can't name a statistic.
They were top. They were in the top 50. They were double better than 2 years ago. Did you know that?
Wasn't hard to do that.
So, for me,
wasted a Heisman year with that defense.
I'm gonna give you two.
Nick Anderson.
Because he's on our ultimate team.
Dude's a freak. Dude's a freak.
Woo! I'm gonna give you two, and I'll give you two from each side of the ball. I'm not gonna go D-line because I think that's the easiest. I think someone like Jack Pyburn is actually changing the culture there. But that's not the name I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you two names for two different reasons. First name I'm gonna give you is AJ Halsey. AJ Halsey is the last one that they got. AJ Halsey, if you don't know, is an All-American safety from the University of Houston. AJ Halsey is the kind of safety that on its face, when you look at him, comes down into the box, ready to get a concussion and not care. When was the last time you had a safety like that?
Jamal Adams. I mean,
is that really the last one for you?
oh, I'm missing a safety?
Is that really the last one? Think Natty.
Are you thinking corner instead of safety?
Oh.
2019?
Come on now.
Delbit?
Come on, dude.
I don't know.
Okay. We'll get to the pivot in a minute. The reason why I want to bring up AJ Halsey is because AJ Halsey was the last one they got, and you can make a case that he costed almost as much as any of them. I don't know that for a fact. But what I do know is that this guy could have gone anywhere, and he was typically the one that you didn't normally get. The name that I was hoping you was going to say was Jay Ward. Jay Ward was the kind of player that you ended up having of the smaller variety, but would come down into the box and just lay it all on the line. I'm not ready to say Jamal Adams or anything like that, but could he be as good as Jay Ward? Because I promise you LSU would have paid. I'm here today. I'll put on record. I will dare somebody to tell me that LSU would not pay at minimum $500,000 for a Jay Ward the last 3 years. And your defense in 2022 was not that bad. Your 2023 defense was the worst of all time, and your 2024 defense was double better. It was 59th in the nation in total defense. And we asked if Blake Baker could split that in half. Could you be top 60? And he beat that. He was 59. So now the question is, can you half that? So I'm going to give you AJ Halsey. The other one that I'm going to give you, and I'm not really sure that we even discuss this or whatever, but this is my personal opinion. And his name is Barian Brown. Barian Brown is the SEC all-time leader in special teams touchdowns. If you remember, there was a press conference that Brian Kelly came out very, very early on, and it wasn't just after the Florida State debacle round one. It was, we need to be great on both sides of the football, but in all three phases. And special teams, as it relates to kickoffs and kick returns, and mainly the return side and punt return, has been certifiably terrible underneath Brian Kelly. Terrible. Last year, you saw a closer to what you should have expected, in that Xavion and Aaron both took one back to the crib. Remember that in the last two games you had? Okay. But then you went out and you got Ahmad Anand. And if anyone doesn't know who Ahmad Anand is, he was an analyst at the University of Grambling, a special teams guy, a great recruiter. A lot of people in Louisiana respected that name, and he's going to have his hands all over the special teams. And then Barian Brown comes in, who is literally a bolt of lightning. Like the word out, and again, this is just the word that's been surfacing, is that no one can catch him. And when you've got Barian Brown, Chris Hilton, Jelani Watkins, if he decides to even continue to play football, I mean, he could be a junior Olympic right now. I would imagine he's probably close to Olympic times. Xavion Thomas, Aaron Anderson, Kyle Parker. Am I
Nick Anderson?
Nick Anderson when he's healthy. I mean, you didn't bring Nick Anderson in because he was a speedster, but he is incredibly fast with that big frame.
Imagine how many fun sets they're going to run this year once healthy.
We haven't even talked about Tradez Green and Bauer Sharp.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And so what I'm trying to say is both sides of the ball, you went out and got two players that you absolutely could not let them go somewhere else. When you have the opportunity to bring in that kind of speed and depth to what we assume Garrett's going to need as many weapons as possible, because from the last time we saw them try to run the football, that wasn't great. As many weapons as possible, speed and space, and somebody that can come down in the box and knock your head off. That is what I got from BK. I know that I went 5 minutes there, but that's how I see it.
So now I ask you the daring question. If BK goes 8-4,
no, he'll be back.
Really?
They're not going to pay. They're not going to buy that out. Not at 8-4.
7-5,
maybe, but still
so
probably no. It would literally take 500. I'm not kidding. Russo, they're not going to pay that money.
Okay.
They're not going to pay that
money. I think the big name surfacing on the hot seat is BK. That's just how the
Sam Pittman.
Sam Pittman. I think that's a given. I mean,
Sam Pittman and Billy are way hotter than Homeboy.
Yeah.
Just because of the money, not because of the like. Yes, if it weren't for that buyout, yes, but I don't think LSU's interested in paying that buyout. I don't.
No, and I'm also of the opinion, and I've been consistent with this last year. Who are you going to go get? Like, I mean, are we going to go get the Indiana dude?
Kurt Zanetti?
Who had 2 good seasons with trash schedules? Like, he's going to do, what's that dude from Michigan State? What was the coach's name? He just, he like ran off a good schedule with, like, on a weak schedule with Michigan State for a couple of years and got a, did he just?
Oh, Mel Tucker?
Yeah. Didn't he already get canned? Or he had some issues, didn't he?
I'm trying to.
Mel Tucker have issues?
If he did, God bless him. I don't know.
I thought he had some issues.
I don't remember that. It's not going to be him. No. They will go.
He was suspended without pay a couple years ago.
They are, first of all, they're not going to get rid of BK.
Yeah.
Second of all, they would go to the, hey Nick, do you really want to pine for more money for ESPN, or do you want to come back and be a coach again? They would absolutely scratch that itch. They would absolutely at least look at a
Saban would come back, I think.
They would look at who's already in the SEC, and they would take a chance on someone wanting to.
I will go on record saying Saban would come back. Yeah, I think this year with what BK did, regardless of the results, with what he was able to do in the transfer portal, you don't think Saban can do that?
I'm not saying he can't. I mean, and ruling today says it's going to be a whole lot easier for the guardrails to be put on. I'm just saying, from where LSU stands, they are not going to pay that buyout.
Just like I said with me having a clean slate, me being a new me, I will eat crow and say, as a Nuss hater last year, clean slate, just like A&M. I have bet him to win the Heisman at plus 800. I'm gonna give him I'm gonna give him a chance. I think I'm gonna be very positive. I know I have certain people in my group who will still shit on me regardless of whether how he does, or not. But clean slate, I'm very hopeful. We'll talk about his Heisman chances in a separate video. We have a lot of betting videos coming your way, as far as where we stand on that. Shout out, let's give Nuss. Absolutely. he's the Heisman favorite / co-favorite for a reason. I mean, I think now you're showing your bet. I used a $10 free bet. Like, even I can't even say that's just straight.
Okay, it's just straight screen.
Straight screen.
I got him at 1900, but he's not the only one. He's not the only. There was one other bet that I wanted to make for the Heisman, but it was a long shot. I'm not ready to announce who it is yet.
We have a lot of betting videos coming your way. We have a lot of content coming your way. Mm-hmm. We're gonna officially be moving. We're not moving. We're gonna be officially streaming on Spotify and Apple Podcasts the next couple of weeks. That will be official. We are going to be putting out great content as far as YouTube videos are concerned. And we're also going to be utilizing TikTok as well. So lots of good content coming your way with the rebrand, with everything going on. And hopefully we get to the point where we can at least watch a game or two together live again and do that formally and more professionally than we did last time outside of sitting on the couch a couple years ago watching a sad game. So
it was such an awesome day, but such a bad football game, dude.
Yeah. So all of that is coming your way in the next couple of weeks. The scheduling will be figured out. We will always be live on Thursdays. That will be our scheduled show. As far as the videos are concerned, be on the lookout. Definitely like and subscribe. If you subscribe, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. So stay tuned for those. And anything you want to put a bow tie on this one for, man?
So I will say before we end up going out, I will say that there is a very, very good chance that once camp starts, and this is kind of like I'll set the stage for you. Once camp starts, it's for real. Like July has been in the left lane cooking, like running. It's not quite as fast as February was, but it's been cooking. But once August gets here, it's going to be Christmas on crutches, dude. Slowly. And as the weeks build up, we're going to get incredibly amped and excited. But the one thing that we do want to remain, consistent is how much we appreciate the people that come in and watch, the ones that listen to us, the ones that give us feedback, the people that text us, comment. Obviously, please always rate, comment, and subscribe. Give us
shout out Imagine, shout out Tyler Pat, shout out Lucio.
Facts. And again, man, like I just want to say thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts. Like we certainly do put in a lot of effort to want to come in and talk about this for 20, 30, 40 minutes, hour, come up with ideas, phone calls, talking about the show. What can we do? Spending hours making a new logo. Like I think this season has a chance to be insane if things go your way. Does LSU, and we can get into this in a further episode, does LSU's offensive line gel? You lose the best alignment in the draft and a lineman that went to the Baltimore Ravens. When's the last time Ravens missed on an offensive lineman? Like getting Emory Jones. I mean, you lose 4 offensive linemen to the draft. Can you run the football? And by the way, as bad as LSU was on defense 2 years ago, you were almost that bad running the ball last year, which is really hard to think, considering Caden Durham came on. Is Harlem Berry?
We lost Trey. Oh yeah, wouldn't be an episode without without some kind of internet issues. Anyways, that was the bow tie. We'll see you guys next Thursday. Stay tuned, like and subscribe, and hope you all have a great day.